Hello Aries, this is Embrace the Moon Tarotscopes and welcome to your March 2018 reading. I was kind of trying to tap into your energy a little bit before I was laying down the cards, and today I'm doing the four corner spread with little extra as in present, strength, and obstacle, potential obstacle. And as I was kind of tapping into your energy to do this reading, I was kind of feeling just an overall sense of being misunderstood. That's kind of what was coming to mind. And then just a whole slew of emotions that come with being misunderstood, especially when you have the best intentions in mind, the best intentions at heart. And when they get misconstrued, how that makes one feel is so, it's not just frustrating and irritating, but can also feel a bit lonely and just emotionally I don't want to say lost, but kind of in the sense of being lost, because it doesn't feel like it doesn't matter how you try to fix it or how you try to make adjustments for the perception. It just seems like anything that is said and done continues to feed this miscommunication or misunderstanding. So that is what I was tapping into as I was tapping into your energy to do this reading. So let's go ahead and begin, and let's begin in the mind. We have the Three of Swords, and continue with that concept of feeling misunderstood. I feel that this is where this Three of Swords is coming into play. Just feeling like you've been betrayed by yourself in a sense. Like I said, you've gone through the works and have had nothing but good intentions at heart and in mind. And so when you followed through with them, you thought that the return was going to be just a whole different setup. Like what you had perceived and had kind of made out in your mind, and the return of the energy that you were putting forth was just completely almost an extreme opposite of what you are getting in return. So you're feeling a bit betrayed, and it's, even though I said that in the beginning that there's a bit of emotional loss to this, as far as mentally where you are going mentally, what's going through your mind is just this irritation that it can be misconstrued to the level that it is. And just like I said, feeling betrayed. And that's where the emotion's coming in. Like if you spend too much thinking about this perception of how things have actually gone down versus how you had viewed they were going to occur, the emotions kind of rise eventually. The more you ponder on it, the more the emotions start to kind of bubble up and begin to tie into how you feel. But mentally, the way you're going over and over, you keep going over and over this in your mind, and you feel like there's a part of yourself that's somehow betraying yourself, and you just don't understand how you can make it stop. You can't seem to figure out how you can get yourself to be on the same page as yourself so that other people can perceive you from the way you were perceiving yourself in your mind when you were putting together these plans, these ideas, and you're moving forward with them. So that's what I feel is kind of the underlying thoughts that you have when you're entering into the month of March. And it feels like this is, if it hasn't happened to you, like some of it may have happened for you already. If it hasn't happened, it'll be about the first week of March when mentally you just kind of go over and over and over. And it's like those swords, just kind of, you take them out and you reevaluate the wounds that have been made. But somehow, without you even realizing it, you manage to put the swords back in, or someone managed to put the swords back in. And then you have to repeat that process of taking the swords out, reevaluate the situation, and try to heal and move on. And it's just this weird cycle that you're in right now. And somewhere along the end of the first week, you'll start to feel how you can put some of the pieces together. I'm not saying that you're going to manage to change people's minds or their perception of you, but more on the lines of understanding what you need to do for yourself so you can move on. So you can take the swords out and you can actually discard them, and they won't be able to re-enter, and you'll be able to move on without this constant rehashing of betrayal that kind of goes in your mind over and over again. So somewhere around the second week of March, for the bulk of you, is when the height of that energy of change is going to come. Physically, in the physical world, we have the Seven of Cups, and changes is what I'm getting. Usually when the Seven of Cups comes up, it's usually opportunities or having tons of choices at your foot. But I feel that this is more in the line of changes, and this is actually reflected a bit in the center card, which is the present time sense, which is the Tower. But we'll compound on that a little bit in a few minutes, but first we'll focus on this in the physical realm. So what you have within you, the world that you are residing in with it right now, your life as you know it right now, there are some changes that are kind of occurring at this time, and as a result of it, the changes are bringing up, not so much bringing up opportunities, but making opportunities seem more available. So these opportunities have already been available to you, have always been available to you, but as things change, and it's somewhere along the time when the mindset changes with the Three of Swords, so somewhere around the second week of March, there's going to be some shifts, and with that shifts, there's going to be clarity of your options. So it's not that options suddenly finally go hallelujah and descend upon you in a cloud of silver lining, as much as the opportunities that have always been there for you are going to be more clarified as a result of this mindset change that you're going to experience. And it's just something that is a matter of you making choices. It's not so much that you have to make a choice right now. It's not so much that you're going to have those moments where you're going to have this clarity and suddenly you can just do an about face and change everything with a drop of a hat, as much as clarity on your options are going to come on you. And as a result of that, you're going to be able to feed that rerouting of thinking that you're going to have at the beginning of the month. And so from that, more opportunities and decisions that you've been seeking are going to be clarified to you once again. And as a result of that, you'll be able to take stock. So it's not action. It's not that you're going to take action immediately on these changes. It's just the recognition that you have more options, and that's going to make you feel a little bit liberated. Not so much that you have to make them, but that you could if you want to. It's kind of like when you're home on the weekend and you have the car out on the parking lot or in your driveway or whatever. Just because you have that car doesn't mean you have to go somewhere. But it's kind of nice to know that if you decided you wanted to go out for pizza and beer or whatever, you could do that. So that's kind of the energy that's coming with this. So somewhere towards the middle of March, the mindset's going to change around the end of the first week of March, and with that it's going to have this clarity on options that have always been available to you. And the more you start to see that clarity and feel that clarity and kind of reside in that, the more it's going to help feed that shift in mindset and back and forth. It's going to be this nice even flow between the two. And like I said, it's like having the car out on the driveway on the weekend. It's not that you have to go, but if you decided to on a whim, you could do so. And that can be so liberating. And that's kind of that's the energy of the Seven Cups within the physical realm that we have here. Emotionally, we have the Knight of Swords. And there are some of you who are in a relationship, and there's been some, because of whatever this has been going on, it's kind of been eating away a little bit at the relationship. And so the relationship is a bit kind of tumultuous as a result of it. And there's almost been a charging forward without giving reasonable thought to it. So the reactions that have occurred regarding any sort of uplift or shaking, if you're feeling that, you're kind of being told to take a step back and reevaluate to find a clear-cut answer. And if you don't have a clear-cut answer, don't do anything until you have a clear-cut answer. Just be wise about your decisions. Be, really logical about your perception. Try not to feed too much emotion in it, because your emotion might be fed from whatever's going on with this, and it might kind of push it to the side that you don't necessarily need it to be pushed to. So wait until you actually see with clarity what it is that you think that you see. And if you never see what it is that you think that you see, then take a step back. reevaluate and be logical. Don't just charge forward with a reaction, because the reaction might create a chain of events that you will otherwise be a bit regretful in the future. In the spirit or in the passion realm, we have the Ace of Pentacles, and this I feel is very much towards the end of the month and is a result of the clarity that you're going to receive on the opportunities that you have clarification on. It's somewhere towards the beginning or towards the end of the month, you're going to feel a little bit of a readiness to accept some of these options that are presented, and you're just going to see that this is the turn of events that you have been seeking without ever really having sought them. Like, you didn't even realize that this is what you were looking for. All of this work that you had put into before that had kind of maybe fed some of this energy within the mind and within the physical realm before the clarification had arrived. You didn't realize that all of that work that you were putting into this was actually pushing you towards this opportunity that's going to be at the end of the month. And the clarity is just going to help you to realize that out of all of the options, like I said, when you feel that clarification, it's not saying take action as much as just kind of really sitting in and down and getting that sense of liberation, because you know you have these opportunities. But towards the end of the month, just feeling liberated isn't going to be enough. It's going to be like Sunday night comes around and you're like, crap, I really wanted that pizza and beer. Call up your friends and go for the pizza and beer. So it's something, that kind of sense of feeling. So towards the end of the month, you're going to start seeing all the options, be like, yeah, I know I have all of these, but that is what I want. And again, it's not fiery action going towards it. It's just getting that seed planted, that beginning step, starting to think about it, analyze it, starting to realize what it is that you need to ground that, so that you can start the action. Not necessarily getting it going ablaze as much as the beginning steps to kind of go in that direction. And the analogy that comes to mind for that is they often say if you ever want to turn a ship on the sea, even though you have huge open sea, ships are huge. It's not like turning a left turn on a road with a car. It takes a long time before that ship starts to actually visibly show that it's turning. And towards the end of the month, that realization of that's the one I choose, that's the one I want, and that's the one I'm going with, that is actually going to start the process of turning. And you might not see the turn in its completion by the end of the month, but you will be beginning the process of turning. So as I already stated, the present energy, and I feel that this is present as in right now, but kind of going to be flowing through the month of March, is the Tower card, which is about change. And the Tower card in and of itself feels a bit like it's a bit scary, but the thing is that whenever we have changes, it really helps us to reevaluate our position, our what we like and what we don't like, our desires, if the desires still ring true for us. So you might have been one of those kids who said when they were 6 years old, I want to be an astronaut, and then by the time you became 20, you're like, yeah, that's not happening. Or you might have been someone who went through your entire life, even through high school, saying, I want to go to school to be an anesthesiologist, and then you went to sign the papers at college and you realized going to school for that took 8 to 9 years. You're like, I'm committed, but I'm not that committed. My heart's desire has changed just a little bit. 9 years of school, yeah, I don't really see that fitting for me and what I want in life. There's nothing wrong with that. But it causes change. It causes a shift. There's a ripple effect. And sometimes it can be not as easy as just saying, I want to change. I decided I don't want that anymore. Sometimes things get shifted as a result of that. And so the shifts are occurring. So if you go back to the analogy of going to school, let's say you decided to go to college and you started taking a couple years, and then afterwards you realized, I really don't like college, and so therefore I'm going to change my major so that I only have to spend time in school for 5 to 6 years instead of 9 years. As a result of that, you might have to take courses that don't normally apply or didn't apply to the first degree. And as a result of that too, some of the courses you have taken to the previous major now suddenly might not apply to this particular major. So there's a ripple effect, there's changes. It's not disastrous in the sense that it's earthquaking, earth shattering, and everything's going to crumble and fall. But there is a ripple effect. And that more subtle ripple effect is kind of what you're going to be feeling through the month of March. There are changes. You are going to feel the shakes and quakes and the shivers and the ripple effect. Go with it and realize that this is going to be an experience that will allow you to kind of reevaluate your heart's desire, reevaluate what it is that you want in life, and help to kind of give you that clarity, not only in seeing the opportunities, but knowing which one you want to grab when you come towards the end of the month. The strength for the month is the Emperor card, and I just really feel that this speaks of that solid feeling of knowing who you are and what you want. And you have a little bit in the beginning of the month when you are having that Three of Swords energy, when you're kind of dealing with that, look, this is who I am, this is what I was presenting, these were my intentions. You know, even when the effects or the response to that wasn't what you had envisioned, you still know who and what you were. And I feel that that is going to be your strength throughout the month. You still know who you are. You still know what you want out of life. Even when you start to have that change in your desires, there's nothing wrong with that. You can have a change of heart and a change of desire and still be true to who you are and what you want out of life, being true to your core being. And so that's your strength. You still know, no matter what happens, you still have a really good solid knowing of you yourself and what it is that you want, what it is that the end results are. And even when the shifts occur and you roll with those shifts, you get a really good sense of who you are going to be through that rolling, through that shifting, as well as who you are going to be when that shifting and rolling and changes has ended. So you get a real good sense of who you are now and who you want to become through the entire process. It never really quakes. It never really decreases. You have moments of feeling, a bit kind of befuddled and slightly irritated and what have you. But at the same time, even when you are questioning that, there's still that part of you that's like, yeah, but I'm still So that is your strength. However, it feeds your obstacle, which is the Hierophant. And so this is just kind of from the negative sense of point of view. It feeds it almost to the point of feeling like any and everything that you say, do, your actions, your intentions, your desires are unquestionable. And the problem with that is that sometimes you won't take the time to actually question yourself. And therein lies the problem. It's not so much that you have a problem. I mean, I think there's a bit of a problem with people questioning who you are and your actions, but that's not the underlying problem this particular month. As you're going through these and experiencing these energies, the biggest thing is that you won't take the time to question. Like sometimes you get so focused and steering straight ahead with whatever it is that you perceived that you wanted, that even when you start to think, I'm kind of wondering if I should go back and change course a little bit, the other part of you will kind of step in, like, nope. This is what we want. Go. That's going to be the struggle. Not taking the time to sit down, slow down, and have a good conversation with yourself, by yourself, without any other thoughts. Basically a little bit of struggle of putting down ego whenever you're still in the presence of yourself. Sorry, that feels so harsh, but that's the bottom line. There's going to be a bit of a struggle of being able to put down your ego even when you're having a conversation with yourself. So you still feel that need to put up that front, even when you're having a conversation with yourself. So try to do your best to recognize when that's happening, because you might actually get to that realization faster. You could get to the clarification faster. You can hold off having a reaction before you should be having a reaction in the relationship department. And you can gain that insight on which one of the opportunities that are before you that you actually do want to take part in. So that is the month of March 2018. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick card pull to be just a little something extra that you can kind of carry with you as you go through the month of March. Maybe give you a little extra insight or mantra. Let's see what we have. Red Merlot, relationships. And this, I feel, screams about relationships with yourself. I think this is the month where you can actually really sit down with you by yourself and kind of ponder how honest you are with yourself and what kind of relationship you have. Are you too hard on yourself? Do you demand more of yourself than you should be demanding? And as a result of that, make it hard for you to admit when you want to change your mind. And I think that the relationship and the ego, that's where it's actually coming from. This expectation, and some of it can be because of expectation that you perceive others have on you, but you just kind of put almost too much on yourself. So you go through this internal battle of constantly trying to prove yourself to yourself. And so therefore you won't let yourself relax with yourself, to have a good, honest conversation, to see what it is that you desire and where you want to go, and what you want, what your desires are, what you want this change to kind of come to an end and to a head for you. All right, Aries, that is all I have for you for the month of March. I hope you have a fabulous month. Make it a great one, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.